season, midway point, I guess, how do you evaluate the tight end play overall?
I think there's plenty to improve on. We kind of went through that last week. It was fun really diving into it. Different entities throughout our game, our position-specific stuff to improve on that we can shore up and help the offense kind of, extend drives and get going that way.
So you had a couple games without Michael. Kind of how do you envision it coming out of the bye week in terms of playing time? Obviously, Brennan's getting a little more. Looked like Adam Olaf was getting some.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm still in the mix too because I know he went in the backfield a little bit.
Yeah, I think we got a good mix and rotation what we're doing. With Mike being done for the season, ended up getting a shoulder surgery. We're going to be bummed missing him. He was having a good year, but excited for him to get back healthy. So you're going to see a lot more Parachek, which we're confident in. We had been. It was kind of a good battle between those two, and to the point where you saw those two on the field a lot, anyways, together. So we'll keep a good rotation, but you'll see a lot more Parachek.
What about those other guys that have you seen? I mean, Flay's been in there.
Yeah, Mole's doing a good job trying to get him in there. A little bit of the thought process, he's earned some of those reps. A little bit too, it takes some off of Jack's plate in those regards. So keep seeing him, and then Hop as he keeps coming. I think he can keep doing some stuff for us, not only offensively but special teams as well.
Do you think you get to the midpoint of the season without a touchdown catch for the tight ends?
Well, we've had our opportunities, and those guys know it. But it is what it is. Take them as they come. We can control what we can control, does it surprise me? Maybe, but it's part of football too.
Brian, when you did the review over the bye week, just what were some of the things that you took away from that? Anything that you just can't really see in season when you had the time to dig a little deeper there?
I just think technically for us a little bit, run game in particular, just getting to aiming points, little things. There was a little thing with something with Jack that I hadn't seen in a while. He's putting his eyes down a little bit too much in the run game, and that was one I maybe wasn't seeing as much during it. And as I kind of went back and really watched, it was like, hey, you're doing this a lot. But other than that, it was probably more small things than anything. And that's been us a little bit offensively those last 2 weeks, especially. It's like, hey, it's guy there, different position every time. So just showing up those small details.
Are there any concerns for you coming out of the bye week where you had some time to build on things, but then you get stagnant just because of the schedule, and then you got to get back to it?
Yeah, that always scares me. And I thought Coach Smith did an awesome job talking about winning the bye, right? You can go win the bye, and our mindset was, hey, you're going into this finding ways to improve, right? Finding ways to improve at the same time, getting some recovery for some guys that have gone 6 weeks straight plus fall camp. And not only football, but academically too, right? Going out and winning the bye, catching up on stuff, getting way ahead of stuff as we get to this next stretch of this season. So we talked about that a bunch. And for me with the tight end room, it was more, hey, just because, we're maybe not practicing every day, right? That doesn't mean change your routine, right? Instead of, getting here at 6:30, maybe get here at 7 a.m., right? So you can stay in that routine, getting some movement, whether it's up in the weight room with Coach Mack or in the training room doing some stuff. So I kind of urge those guys, don't change your routine to get out of it. So when we come this week, it's not totally different.
What is Brian's, points of emphasis, that, you took away from the self-evaluation?
Who's?
Yeah, Brian.
Oh, I think for him, I think his biggest thing, and what he echoed to the offense is we've left a lot of stuff out there. As a unit, there's been opportunities that we've had not only to put the ball in the end zone, but extend drives, and we just left opportunities out there. Whether it be a drop, whether it be a turnover, whether it be a miscue of a route or whatever it may be. There's just so much we've left out there opportunity-wise, and we got to capitalize on that, especially in this conference going against good teams like Iowa.
How much has the barometer, is this game in some way the barometer of where you guys, how far you guys can come, maybe even just through the bye week, because of what, Bill Parker's doing?
Yeah, I think for us, we're so process-oriented that each week's its own week. I do think the one thing that, that Iowa's done, and they've done it for a long time. I mean, I played against, Coach Parker, Coach Fran. I mean, back in my career, back 12 years ago now, like they do a good job and they do what they do. They make you earn it, and I think that's an awesome challenge for our offense, because there's times where we've made awesome explosive plays, big time drives, and there's times where we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot. So we challenge our guys, hey, we got to go earn it, playing and play out versus these guys, because they do a good job of playing steady Eddie, bend but don't break defense.
How close is this offense, do you think, to having that switch flip?
I think there's been so many, again, going back and looking at it, right? And we watched every play as coaches, players damn near watched every play. There's just so many things where it's like, guys, you guys don't even maybe get how close you are. And it's fun to see, as a coach, you'd like to see him get over it and go do it. We know it's a process. It's the first time these guys are running this offense, most of them at least. So we're excited about the guys working for it.
And how much is that age factor and experience factor in terms of, I guess,
I think it's
knowing how to take
yeah.
it?
I always think about how reps accrue, right? Like how reps build on top of each other, right? It's compound interest for football, right? You're going to get better the more reps you get, the more times you see it, because of the little different things that the defense can do, right? Hey, you might have this, and this, right? If they give you a fourth option, like as you see it, right, as you rep against it, like it becomes easier. You play faster. And I think that's what we're going through, and it's been good, right? There's been some challenges to it, right? And there's been some really good things that have come from it.
Your playing days kind of coincided with night games starting to increase, and then you go to the West Coast, you get the Pac-12 after dark. Now, I mean, this is, does it get to the point where what are your thoughts on, all these night games?
It's so funny because I get so much, crap upstairs, especially from Coach Mahalchek, because I always brag, like, oh my gosh, 11 o'clock noon games, like that was really cool in the Big Ten. I think it's more fun for the fans at night, kind of their thought process, because they get the fun long tailgate. But it was always nice, player, like you get done with the game, it's 3 o'clock, man, you get to go home, watch some more football, it's kind of cool. So yeah, I wasn't expecting to come back to all night games, but whatever makes the fans happy.
Do you guys as coaches like the idea of like coming out of a bye week against a team that's known as always being physical, fundamentally sound, to sort of like jolt them back to reality? There's no room for sort of a slow start out of it.
Yeah, well, I think it's they are physical, and I think that's kind of what we want to be. We want to be known as that. We kind of been trying to instill that in these guys too. Like, hey, we want teams after they play us to feel it, right? Like, and so when you go against a team like that, right? And I think it's a lot of teams in this conference, right? But Iowa's certainly shown that. I don't know, the past, Coach Smith's been there 26 years. I mean, they've certainly showed that the past 26 years. So I think it's a good challenge, and you just challenge those guys with it. And I think at the same time, like, you talk about being physical, it's going to be a physical game. Like I just spoke about it with the tight ends. Like that doesn't mean like we change our technique, like we do something abnormal, right, to be more physical. Like no, being physical means finishing longer with great technique. Who's going to finish longer? Who's going to have the best technique and finish, right? We don't want to start saying, hey, get physical, and our hands are out here, we're throwing guys, flags are flying all over the place. Like that's not what we want, right? So.
Did they recruit you at all when you were there?
No, I didn't have any connections there. But I think it's changed so much, like the kid, the running back they got from Cincinnati, Hamilton. I just think it's easier to get a little bit more spread out now with huddle and all that stuff. I was still sending in DVDs and highlights. So
Iowa's been very good at turning people over forever, going all the way back to when you played probably. So what you've game planned as a player to run routes against their defense and so forth, what makes it difficult? Why are they so good at that?
I think they're really, I call it like they're handsy in the routes, or they try to reroute you. But they play a lot of zones, so they always got their eyes in the backfield, right? And so I think that helps them be able to jump some of that stuff. I think if you really look at it statistically, between coverage, I think more interceptions are going to come in zone versus man, where their eyes are on the man, right? So I think that's what they do a good job of. They're super disciplined in what they do. They've been doing it forever, right? Even though, this defense is a little bit older, but they've been doing it forever. Even, guys coming in, they can show them on tape. This is how we do it. And you can see that, and it's kind of cool to see. But I think that's why they've been so successful with that.
I'm wondering, I know you guys try and take that single game approach, but the way that the schedule has the 3 games in the middle of the bookend buys, do you look at that in that respect and say, okay, we've got 3 games here to kind of do this, that, or the other thing?
Yeah, there is some of that, and it's maybe more for the coaches than players, but like of that stretch. And I talked about it right after the Oregon game. In those 20 days, we went from Boston to Oregon. And again, it wasn't all 20 days, right? It was a couple days in between for sure. But what was kind of nice about this bye week is like, hey, now we get to spend a whole month in Michigan, even when we go down to Ann Arbor. Like I think that was refreshing for them to feel and hear. But yeah, maybe as coaches we look at it a little bit. It was like, okay, we got this three game stretch bye week, and then finish it off obviously in November. But I think for the players, it's hey, the focus right now is on Iowa. Last week, focus was on us for the beginning of the week, and then as we get towards the end of the week, focus went back on Iowa.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I think that's how we'd like to finish it.
So Parachek, how has he come along since September 1st or so, and what's next for him?
Yeah, no, I think Per's done a nice job. The hard thing for him is he didn't get a ton of reps in the spring, but he's a really smart kid. Like just some of the stuff we have him on, even in special teams, it's like okay, like he can pick up a lot of different things. So it's been good to see him come along that way. I think more so than him, it's just trusting his instincts. Like, hey man, go play. I think sometimes he wants to sit there and analyze, and it's like you know what you got, man. Go out there and do it. Because when he does, he's pretty hard to stop.
And Tyneil Hopper's more the 4th guy coming along. Is he
doing some stuff in the backfield, coming along, helping out at the point of attack a little bit too. Just keep getting him reps too.
Who's the best blocker of that bunch?
Yeah, like I said, blocker to me, there's a couple different ways you look at it. I think if you look at on the line, obviously what Michael was able to do. Parachek's very similar in that regard. Jack kind of can do it on the line, can do it in space really well. Mola's really good in space, but he's so long he can help you on the line of scrimmage. So it kind of depends the situation, the matchup you want. And again, I think we're versatile in the fact that we can kind of match it up the way we want.
I know you can't talk about recruit players, but did you guys get out and watch some recruiting on Friday night? What pockets did you hit?
Yeah, we were able to go out, got out to Wisconsin, Milwaukee area. It was good. It was good getting out there, watched some good football, good high school football. So it was fun seeing that. And then really it was mainly just making some phone calls and staying in touch with those guys.
And the rest of the staff too, or is that just you?
Yeah, no, I was just me in Wisconsin, and then a few others. We were kind of all over a little bit. Texas. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I know everybody off the top of my head. A bunch of guys in Michigan, Ohio. I don't think we had anybody go too far. Definitely didn't have anybody going down south with the hurricane stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it spread out pretty good.
Thanks.
Anything else for Coach Woz?